is up, guys? It is Scumpy, and here is a very amazing gameplay that I have been saving up for a while. It was actually during one of my live streams in the past, and it was a double MOAB. As you can see, my gamer tag was Optic Scumpy, which was probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago from when I made the change. Actually, I have no idea when I made the change. I'm just throwing that out there. Pretty clueless on time. It goes by really quickly, and I just can't remember the exact day that I changed it. But yep, this was a double assault MOAB, which is also something that makes it a pretty interesting gameplay. And I'm using the ACR, and this was during one of my live streams, so this was recorded in theater, as I cannot, as well, I could, but I'd have to rip it straight from my live stream, which would first of all decrease the quality right off the bat to 480p, I believe. And it just wouldn't look as good in the end, so I just decided to get it on theater, save it on theater, and then just show it here. So here you go. This is the double mod video that I got, and it's one of the better gameplays that I've gotten in the past. And yeah, I think this is my second or third double MOAB that I've recorded, actually. It's not my second or third overall, but it's the second or third that I've actually gotten on film. I've actually gotten while I had my Intensity Black Magic Intensity Pro, so it's pretty monumental. And this is a commentary that I've been wanting to do for a while, and it's actually about the UFC, or the Ultimate Fighting Championships, I believe that it's called. I hope I don't sound like too big of a dumbass calling it that, but it's a mixed martial arts league where they pretty much go into an octagon and beat the shit out of each other for however many rounds there are in the fight. And actually, I've never really been exposed to it too much. One of my better friends, he actually does gymnastics, and he's really into it. And we actually went to his house about a couple months ago, and we actually bought the fights. I think it was George St. Pierre against someone. I can't remember who it was. But it was George St. Pierre against another really good fighter, and it was a really good match. And that's when I really was introduced into MMA, and that's the first time that I've really watched a legitimate match where we bought it on pay-per-view, as you usually have to do for mixed martial arts fights, which I really don't see a problem with. I mean, if people are willing to pay for it on pay-per-view, then why not? They hype up these matches for such a long time. They really advertise it really well. They really hype up the matches. And last weekend, me and a bunch of my buddies went to Hooters. Actually, yeah, fucking Hooters, right? Boobies and stuff all over the place. But yeah, we went to Hooters, and we watched the Rashad Evans versus John Bones Jones fight. And it was actually really interesting. It was a slower fight than usual, than what I'm used to seeing, but we had a good time. It was a good fight. John Bones Jones actually came down to winning at the decision, and it was interesting, and it was really entertaining. And it's really crazy how hard some of these mixed martial arts fighters work. I almost feel like they have to work harder for one match, one moment in their career. They have to work like 5, 6 months, however long, until their next match. But it's really astounding that they have to work for that long for one match. And sometimes these people, they'll just get into the ring and they'll get knocked out first punch. Like how do you bounce back from something like that after you've been training and you've been practicing and you've been studying this person's fighting style specifically for this match? And then you just go in and get knocked out. Like, how do you recover from that? If that were me, I would just lose all dedication at that point, and it would really just be heartbreaking to go out that way. But the way that some of these guys, just their work ethic is incredible, and it's really awesome to see that, and it's really awesome to see a new sport emerge just out of nowhere. Like, my friend was telling me, the one that does gymnastics and he's really into the mixed martial arts, he was telling me that they actually weren't allowed to televise mixed martial arts events because of how gruesome and how brutal they got. They really didn't have any rules, and like people would be getting absolutely trampled, and even some people would like die in these fights, and that's why they couldn't be televised. But John McCain, when he was a senator, I guess that he proposed some laws to be put into effect that would I guess eliminate all those gruesome images and make it more viewer friendly and make it accessible for TV stations or channels to use and for people to be able to sit down and enjoy them instead of buying the pay-per-view. They would just put on some of the lower ranged fights, and then they would make some of the more sought after fights, such as the John Bones Jones and Rashad Evans fight. They'd make them pay-per-view. So if you really wanted to see the big dogs fight, you'd have to pay for it, which I think is really awesome. And I am not really set on my favorite fighter. I mean, I'm sort of a newbie to it. I've only seen 2 pay-per-view events, and I've seen a couple events on TV. Not events, but I've seen a couple of fights on TV. And I really can't pick a favorite fighter from those from those 2 times and those couple of fights that I saw. But my friends really, if I actually, let me take that all back right there, and let me say, if I had to pick a favorite fighter, it'd probably be GSP, because that was one of the first ones that I saw, and that's one of my friend's favorite fighters, because I believe he's a French Canadian, as well as my friend he's a French Canadian. He's from Canada, and he came down a couple years ago, and he started living in the U.S. So that's his favorite fighter. So I guess that's my favorite fighter. I guess it's sort of a bandwagon thing that he's a really good fighter. But I heard actually recently that he tore his ACL, or he tore something in his leg. And for UFC, I mean, using your legs is really crucial to be able to plant your foot down and do kicks and stuff. Having the ability, or not having the ability, I should say, to plant on your leg and put pressure on your leg and be able to snap your leg at someone's head. I mean, I guess that's really, really bad, and that's probably one of the worst sports I feel that you could get an injury like that for. And just to point this out, in case nobody saw, and I didn't really want to cut myself off from the commentary while it happened, I got 0 kills for that MOAB. 0 kills. I'm not even sure if there were people still in the game, or they just all killed themselves at a spontaneous time, which didn't allow me to get any of the kills. But I got 0 kills for my first MOAB. But let's get back into the UFC. Now, I am not sure how much money the UFC makes, but I should definitely research it. And I'm pretty sure that if I did research it, I would pop an Insta boner, because that industry, or that entertainment industry, I should say, probably has so much money wrapped up in it. It's probably insane. I heard that if you make it in the UFC, whoever the leader is, or whoever the CEO of the company is, I don't remember his name, but if you make it in the UFC, you're pretty much set for life, just like any other sport. And according to my calculations, every other sport, if you make it, you're pretty freaking rich. So I'm assuming that the UFC has just as much as some sports, or maybe even more than other sports. Talking about how much money is involved in it, obviously. But that's pretty insane to think that in 2 to 3 years, if you come up with a good idea for a sport, it can get that big. And if you're the founder of that company, you can make that much money that quickly. So it's just something to put your mind to. And maybe think of a new sport. I mean, I know it might be hard, but who knows? Think of a new sport. It could be as simple as fighting someone. I mean, come on. That's what somebody's motive was. They want to see people fight each other for money, and that's where they got them. And that is all that I really have to talk about regarding the UFC. And here's another topic that I really wanted to talk about. It is the UMG Chicagoland. Now, there was a slight mishap that a lot of people really took the wrong way, and they made up rumors, which is preposterous. Why would you make up rumors about something that you have no idea what went on? Why would you make up rumors about it? I guess that's just the way that this community works. But the real reason why I didn't attend, which was what I was getting to, I couldn't attend the UMG Chicagoland, and I'm going to tell you the reason why right now. It was because our sponsor, Apex Esports, they were waiting for something to fund my plane ticket, and they never got it. So they pretty much waited till the last minute to get my flight taken care of and get my flight booked for me so I could go. They waited until the last minute to get it, and so I could not go, which is pretty shitty because my team is there right now, and if you guys are competitive players, or if you don't know what competitive gaming is, just playing without your real team and playing with like a pickup fourth, even that one player can mean there can be such a substantial loss because the chemistry just isn't there, and it's just not the same whenever you're playing with somebody that you haven't been playing with consistently for the past couple of months. And here I get my second MOAB, and let's see if I do end up getting any kills with this one. I think I do, because there are a lot more people in this game and they're not douchebags, so they don't actually quit out. But yo, okay, there we go. That's a good MOAB kill feed that I'm liking to see. But yeah, I didn't end up going to the UMG Chicagoland, so I'm not going to be having any video logs or vlogs for you guys from the event. But no worries, I have a surprise coming up next weekend. It'll be pretty fun, and I'm looking forward to it. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this double MOAB video. Show me a like and a favor for this one, as it did take me a while to get, and it was one of my second MOAB videos on my channel. Follow me on Twitter. It'll be in the description. And thanks, guys. Take it easy.